Good morning. Welcome to Marty's Fly Tying Bench. It's early July here in Loveland, Colorado, and it is Yellow Sally time. These things are all over Rocky Mountain National Park, the Big Thompson, and pretty much all the Front Range rivers. They don't always hatch in huge numbers, but they always seem to be around. The fish know them, like them. Good little fly to have. I wanted to come up with something different, a good floater with the foam body. I call this the Matchstick Sally because when I prepare the foam, got a little red on the tip. This started out as 1.5 millimeter closed cell foam. I cut it freehand with shears, tried to make it pretty square. And then if you're going to color it with a Sharpie, realize that stuff takes a while to dry when you put it on foam. So prepare those in advance. Just cut your strips, color both ends, let them dry, and by the time you're ready to start tying, the first ones you colored are probably good enough. If you don't let them dry, they can bleed into the wing material. That's the reason for that. Now I'm using a Dai Riki 270. It's a fine wire hook. It's going to be easier to keep afloat. You tie these on a standard shank in 14s and 16s. This is a, I can't remember if it's a 16 or an 18 Dai Riki hook, but the shank length is equivalent to the 14. I know the size of the bug that I want to tie, so I just chose a hook that's got the right size shank. Now, this is UV eye stub, light yellow, and I'm not really building up a body as much as laying down a base of texture so that when I tie the foam in, it won't spin around the hook. Now, I'm going to lift any strays up top so it's easier to give it a haircut. Now I'm ready to go. Grab my matchstick and set that on the top so that it extends just a little bit beyond the bend of the hook. Couple turns right into the dubbing and it'll stay. Move my thread forward, fold it over and bend it down again. The thread is Danville's Flymaster. UTC 70 would be a good choice. You want a thread that'll flatten out so you can make these turns without cutting the foam. And get a little security wrap. The wing material is EP trigger point fibers, yellow, light yellow. I've pulled out a little bit of this yarn. It's much finer than like widow's web, and it works very nicely on these small flies. You'll start using it on spinners and everything else. I'm going to double it over, get a couple of wraps so that they're all swept back, and then I'm going to kind of stroke them so that those fibers meld together a little bit. And it's going to get them out of the way so I can double this over and tie in a little round head. I'm going to make a couple of turns, security turns up under the eye of the hook. Now I'm ready to mount some legs. This is Montana Fly Company Centipede Legs. Make sure you get the small. The medium is the standard size, and it's just a little bit short and stubby for this size of fly. So I'm going to mount them on the near side, right in that same notch. Just a couple of turns. Now when I mount them on the far side, what I do is I lay this leg across until it matches up in length with the first one so that when I tie it in, they're pretty close. And if they're not the same, I can tug on this one before I tighten up. And just 2 more turns, that's enough. Then I'm going to jump under here to the eye of the hook and tie a couple of 3 turn whip finishes. I don't plan on using head cement, so I'm going to use 2 whip finishes. And I'm ready to trim. Get rid of the thread. I'm going to slide my scissors down, make sure I don't get any legs in there. Now that little stub that I left is going to help sweep these wings to the back. I'm going to cut the wings so they're just a little longer than the body length. And my last step is going to be to get any trimming I need to do to keep my legs fairly symmetrical. So there you have it, Matchstick Sally. 5 minutes of your life, but you got a product at the end of it.